Hello, hello, hello to wrapping up Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. In this video, I want to talk a bit about what I learned from the reading of this book. And I also originally wanted to answer some of your questions. I will have to do this in a separate video for the simple reason that I already recorded this video and then the batteries while recording ran off, ruining the take. And I have to leave in 10 minutes or something, or 15 minutes. So I can talk 10 minutes. And I will do that, and then I will hopefully tomorrow, post the video with your questions, or with the answers to your questions. So what I learned from reading the video, and I have to probably give you, reading the book, and I have to probably give you a bit of a background, some background information. I do have a sort of kind of a literature background, as in I studied dramatics as a major subject, and German literature and social psychology as minor subjects. So I do have a bit of a theoretical background, so I read a lot about story theories and how to write, and there's just a bookshelf behind the camera when I look across ahead of the over my camera. There's a bookshelf with lots of books on writing, on literature theories, etc., etc. And I'm not really a big fan of rules, at least in creativity, because I do think that rules are necessary, but necessary as in they are kind of our lifelines. They help us to make things more effective. And this is the one big thing that I took away from Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, because some 15 years ago or something, I bought the book because I thought I have to read it because everyone read it and everyone knows that book, and there are tons of adaptations of this book, and I bought the book and I started to read it and I enjoyed reading it. But I usually don't really have the time to read a book in one go, so I closed the book, put it away, and never opened it again until a couple of years later. I think it was months later, and I wanted to continue that book, right? And I opened the book and I started from the beginning again because I forgot what happened so far, and I got a bit further. But then I also had to stop, put the book away, and forgot about it. So somehow this book never kept my interest, that I wanted to know what is happening. And I never really thought about that until the moment when I put a small little poll on my blog into the vortex.tumblr.com. Which book to read next after The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, and the unanimous answer was Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. So that's what I did, and I said, okay, maybe it's a time to explore why I never managed to finish that book. Because this opening, starting to read, putting it back, putting it away, was like 4 or 5 times, and now I know the answer, and the answer is pretty simple, because this book doesn't have a story. Right? It doesn't grip me as in I want to know what's next, other than, okay, which wacky character will show up next? Because that's what this book is, right? It's like walking through a museum of oddities. What is there? Oh, wacky character. Oh, wacky situation. Oh, there's mad. This is a mad person, right? So, but it doesn't really, there's no story in the book. In the beginning, yes, Alice sees that talking white rabbit who seems to be in a hurry, right? And she is curious, of course, what's happening, right? Following the rabbit into the rabbit hole, falling down, doors. Okay, what can we do? What can she do? Okay, tries to get to the door and sees through one of the doors there's a garden, beautiful garden. Get that. She wants to get to the garden, pool of tears, blee blah bloop. And then she's in the garden, and that's basically it. And then she gets handed from one wacky character to the other and grows and shrinks and all of that. But there's no story there. she's not even in real kind of peril, right? Because she knows it's all just, they're just cards, right? The Queen of Hearts is just a lunatic, and she can't do anything, basically, right? So, and that's also like the climax of that book, when the cards just jump at Alice, and we know and she knows nothing's going to happen. So I'm not really invested into the story. I'm curious about the characters, and this is what I really, really enjoyed. And I have to watch the time. Really, 5 minutes. I really, really enjoyed about the story. All these wacky characters, but I would have wished for a bit more explanation. Like, what's really going on? Why is the mock turtle sad? There's nothing in this. Why is he sad? Why is he sobbing? He has no reason to be sad, right? At least I didn't get it. So if you know that, please let me know in the comments. You can comment on this video, by the way, because this one is not marked as made for kids. And just to be completely clear about this, I fully and thoroughly support YouTube's decision with the made for kids thing. There's safety for kids is the most important thing about. So there apparently, and just for those of you who don't know that, the thing about this you have to mark a video made for kids if it features content specifically made for kids, and children's book is for kids, apparently, right? There's nothing more obvious than that. And so this is one thing, is about advertisement, so data collection. So there's no data collection in these, or at least a limited amount of data collection in these videos. And there's also no possibility to comment, because apparently some people try to get in contact with children via YouTube comments. And if that isn't horrible, then what? And so, yes, all power to YouTube in that regard. I think it's a bit weird, to be very honest, that they just got this implemented after some lawsuits, from what I understood. And it's also just about the money factor. But, well, it's a good rule, and so I think that's important. But you can comment on this video. You can comment on all the Moby Dick videos. So there's that. And if I make a reading not specifically of a children's book, I of course will not mark these videos as made for kids. So where was I? Yeah, maybe it's for a kids video, for a kids book or children's books, it's maybe not even a good idea to just make something silly that you can. And I think maybe this is also a book that is funny to read to people. And I really enjoyed doing that, and what I learned by doing that, because there were a lot of different characters, and I'm not a natural in doing voices, quite honestly. There are people who are much better than that than I am. But so for me, this was a learning process, and I did improv classes, or I attended improv classes years ago, and when we learned how to do different characters, and of course the voice is one way to go about if you want to create a different character, and especially in an audiobook type of thing. So creating distinctive different voices is not easy, especially if you're not a natural in that. And I'm not a natural in that as well. My voice range is very limited. I have that kind of rubble, so I can do voices like that pretty easily because it's my voice, right? And I know that some people strain their vocal cords a lot by doing stuff like that. For me, I don't strain my cords. It's just my natural voice. So there's that. So that is what I learned, and I really thoroughly enjoy the fact that a book like that doesn't follow any kind of rules, and just is obviously written to enjoy the silliness, the craziness, just just trying to create strange characters. And I think this is also one of the reasons why this book has so many adaptations, because I think for a creative person, a book like that is an invitation to create something out of that. For me, it was doing the voices, creating these characters. And so that is what I got out of that. So let me tell you the time with 10 minutes, and I have to check that. Well, I have still 5 minutes left. So let me talk briefly, and I will do that in a separate video in more detail. If you followed along my readings or have watched 1 or 2 videos, 3 videos, 5 videos, whatever, right? You probably saw that I use different microphones or have been using different microphones for my videos. I started with using this microphone. This is the microphone that is a large diaphragm condenser microphone that is fixed on my desk. It's on a shock mount, right? On a gooseneck, and this is my daily microphone. It's a decent microphone back then. This is the t.bone SC450, and I bought that about 8 years ago. Still works. Love the sound of that video. But back in the days, it cost like $120 or $120, I think. I don't know what I paid for it in euros. So a bit over let's say about 100 euros. So before that, I used a microphone that I got in a set, the Behringer C1, which is a microphone in the price range of about 30. Back then it was about $30. So with all equipment, we have the law of diminishing returns, meaning when you pay $30 for a microphone, and then you buy a microphone that is $100, you will hear a significant difference between these two microphones. So this one sounds smoother. This one has a lower noise level. This one is better built, right? Over the course of life, 6 years or something, I realized, okay, this is a good microphone, I need a bit more. So I did lots of research, bought that one. That is the Lewis LCT 440 Pure. It's a microphone in the price range of just short of $300. The difference between this microphone and the $100 microphone is significant, but it's not as big as of the $30 microphone to the $100 microphone. So the difference between the $30 microphone to the $100 microphone is bigger than between the $100 microphone and the $300 microphone. If you buy a microphone that is around like $500 and compare it to this, the difference will be much, much smaller. For many people, me included, you will hardly hear a difference. I heard microphone comparisons between $1,000 microphones and the $300 microphone. Quality-wise, hardly a difference. The thing with microphones is that they have to fit your voice. If you have a $1,000 microphone that doesn't fit your voice, then you will sound not as good as with a $300 microphone that fits your voice. So there's the thing. Quality is one thing. The coloration of the microphone, how good it fits your voice, etc., is a different thing. So there's a thing that I read and heard a ton over the last years, and I really start to believe myself, or no, not start to believe, really believe myself. If you have a good mid-range microphone like this one, then as a normal person, as a person who doesn't have to record a lot of different things, then you will probably not have to invest in a higher quality or more expensive microphone anymore, because these things will last a lifetime. The reason why I got another microphone, this one, the Neat King B microphone, And this is the microphone that you have seen in my last, well, all over Alice, and in many of the, at least all the last Moby Dick readings. I bought that one because while I love this microphone, I love the Lewitt LCT for 440 Pure, it is very bright. So while this would fitted the Wonderful Wizard of Oz, and I have to check, it's time, so I have to stop soon. While it fit the whole atmosphere of the Wonderful Wizard of Oz quite well, I found this too bright for Moby Dick, because Moby Dick is a more somber story, right? And I saw this one tested on even two of my favorite YouTube channels of people that I really respect and whose opinion I really value, and who I use a lot for doing research on audio equipment and stuff. And they both were super impressed by this microphone. And one of them even did a direct comparison to the LCT 440 Pure. And that kind of sold this microphone to me, because this is a bit darker. And that's why by the way, on Moby Dick, I started with the LCT 440 Pure, and then I changed back to the T.bone, because this is a bit darker. It's not as bright as this one. And I don't do any kind of post-processing in my videos. So, and then I saw that this thing, which was originally at about $300 to $400, just short of $400, and it looks like a toy. It sounds amazing. And I saw it for $88, and I bought it, and I love it. And I think it's on par with this one. It has a bit of a different sound, so I use both. These are my two microphones that I use for recording when I need better, higher quality recordings. And so then getting the Tascam DR60D Mark II recorder that allows me to plug these microphones basically directly into the camera, so the recorder acts as a microphone preamp, is my setup for these videos. So more about my audio setup, talking about headphones, very important, talking about audio interfaces. In my case, the Audient ID4, great little interface, super high quality, low cost interface. Recorders, I will show you recorders as well. Or we're going to talk about. So maybe, I don't think I can do it tomorrow, but in the next days, I hope that I can record it over the next days and then edit it on the weekend. So this one's for today. Bye-bye. Hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions, suggestions, and I didn't tell you which book I will read next. No spoilers yet. I'll keep the suspension, but I think you're going to like it. So yeah, bye-bye till next time. I really need to get a remote.